Hi guys, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Got a brand new video for you today on the channel, looking at the top 5 Championship players that Wolves could sign for next season. I'm going to get straight into it. Some of you might have already heard of, some of you haven't heard of, some of them have been linked already. And basically we'll see how Wolves can afford to sign this season with the financial fair play issues and how we can actually combat the situation we're in financially, and hopefully these can boost our squad for next season. So the first one I'm going to start off with is quite a common one, the highest profile one on this list so far, is Alex Scott, and we have been linked with him. He's obviously from Bristol City. We've linked with him since January, and there's plenty been approaches and conversations going on between the club and Bristol. That is the rumours going on at the moment. I can understand why, because of his style of play and profile of player. He's very similar style of player to João Moutinho. Likes to keep the ball moving, doesn't hold the ball for too long, keeps the flow of the play going. Lots of little passes. Likes to carry the ball, looks after the ball quite well. I can see why Wolves are potentially looking at that sort of player. He's obviously 19 years old. He's had 42 appearances in the Championship this season. He's got 1 goal and 5 assists. Obviously, those stats aren't amazing if you think it'll take it on stats alone, thinking 1 goal, 5 assists. That's not fantastic. But in terms of the position he actually plays, he does play a little bit deep for Bristol City. He's not always trying to play the last pass in, for example. So he's not always the one trying to play the assist. He's normally the pass before. So that's a bit similar to the João Moutinho role that he was in before as well. His pass succession rate is 79% in the Championship, which isn't amazing for a midfielder. However, I don't mind that again, because some of the passes he's trying to play or trying to make, he's trying to play the pass forward, he's trying to make the play go forward. So I'm not necessarily too worried about his pass retention rate or his success rate, because I feel like he does look after the ball really well. He's a good player. He's 19. He's got a chance to develop, and I feel like the region of £14 million, what his rate is. He's valued at the moment. Obviously, if Wolves come in, he's going to be around £20 million for him, which I think money would, because of his age, would be a good financial investment. I think Wolves will see the money back on him afterwards. There's obviously sell-on value. So I think if we could get hold of Alex Scott, I think that would be a really good, strong one to start off the transfer window with, and potentially try and really rejuvenate that midfield. Obviously, with Neves potentially leaving, and now Nunes potentially leaving as well. So this will free up some of the funds for those sorts of players. The next one is one you might have heard of. He's Josh Sargent from Norwich. He's an American, fully American international. He plays up front for United. Well, he can play up front. He can play on the wing. He can also play just play on the strikers role in number 10 role. Now, his stats don't necessarily blow you away. If you look at he had 41 appearances this season in the Championship. He scored 13 goals and he's had 2 assists. Now, if you think 41 games, I think 13 goals, that's not amazing. You think, oh, that's not great. The reason you've got to look at it a little bit deeper is, out of those 41 appearances, he's only played 19 of them actually as a striker. He's been played out wide and in other positions for Norwich, even as a central midfield a couple of games. And he actually scored from that position when he was playing in central midfield. But he's playing position, he's a striker. So he's in those 19 appearances as a striker. He's actually scored 9 goals, so roughly a goal every other game. So the question is, that's why I think he might be worth the punt. If he was to play as a striker down the middle every week, not good hold-up play, links play really well, likes to combinations, bring other players into play. He's a sort of target man linchpin that we sort of need. One of his weaknesses probably is his pace. He's not that quick really, but hopefully we build players around him. We're used to playing the striker anyway, whether it's Costa at the moment with lack of pace. So it's something I think someone could fit the squad. He has got Premier League experience before. Obviously, he was with Norwich before in the Premier League the season before. He scored 4 goals, I think, in the Premier League season that season. So he has got a little bit of experience. He's 23. He's got a good age for him. He's hungry. He wants to play, obviously, in the highest division. And I think that is why potentially, if he can play him down the middle, he's got a real chance to thrive in the Premier League next season. And maybe it might actually stop other teams being put off him, potentially. Next one is Ben Kenabango from Swansea. He's a centre-back. He's 22 years old. He's a full Welsh international. He was in the World Cup squad in Qatar last year. He's had 43 appearances in the Championship this season and scored 2 goals. And he stands at 6'1". Now, 6'1" is massive for a centre back, particularly in the Premier League. Look at the ones he's got at the moment. If you look at someone like Dawson, he's about 6'2", 6'3". Kilman's like 6'4", and then Collins is about 6'3", 6'4" as well. So he'll be one of the smaller ones of the centre backs. However, he's more combative. He's more aggressive than the centre backs we have already. He prefers the challenge a little bit more. And one of his key things is his actual pass rates. His pass rate is 89% success in the Championship. Now, I know in the Championship, you might potentially have a little bit more time on the ball in some situations, and there will tend to always be a pass on. So if he's at centre back with the ball, he's always going to have an easy pass left or right. So that might adapt the situation a little bit in terms of his actual rating, his pass success rate. However, he's known to be good on the ball, and I think that is something, if we're trying to play it from the back, that is something we could definitely utilise. He's valued about £10 million. Probably, if Wolves come into him again, it's probably going to rise the price a little bit. So it probably could be around about 15 million, I think, if we were to put the bid in. However, I do think we could potentially save money with this one if we were to get involved, maybe sell Luke Cundle the other way. Obviously, he's been at Swansea this season on loan, had a really good season. Swansea fans like him, the club like him. Is it possible? Not obviously a swap deal, because swap deals don't really happen that often, but might get us in an unwritten agreement where if we were to sell Cundle for £5 million, £6 million maybe to them, you could knock a little bit off the price for Ben Kenabango, so that might actually save us a little bit of money there. So that's an option, but I think he's definitely a player to boost the back line. 130 appearances in the Football League, in the Championship, far more experience than some of the players we've actually got at centre-back already. So I feel like it's a real option for us, that one, and it wouldn't cost us that much money. Again, at 22 is a great age for that. Next one is a bit more of an attacking player from QPR. His name is Marla Shaw. He's a player who I really, really like. He's 25. Okay, so he's a little bit older than the ones I've already said. And we can play attacking midfield, left midfield, right midfield, and obviously up front as well. Now, the reason why I brought him in, because I think looking at the players we've got, potentially Podence is probably going to move on in the summer. And he's a similar sort of player to Podence. He's actually shorter than Podence, so Podence is 5'5". Shaw is actually 5'4", so we managed to find a shorter player than that in the Football League. So, but it's his stats that really, really amaze me. So he's got 38 appearances in the Championship this season. He scored 5 goals, but he's got 9 assists. Now, his assists are really, really effective. They come from a range of different areas. They're either from set pieces, the key passes being played in, dummy runs, really clever little player. Very similar, if you think of playing style, very similar to Podence, but a little bit more of an end product, less flicks and tricks than Podence. So he's less likely to annoy Wolves fans and get people sort of et up, really. He's a full Moroccan international, and he was in the World Cup squad in Qatar. I think he played about 45 minutes for one of the games, but he was involved in the squad and had the experience. Like I say, at 25, a couple of seasons in the Championship now, he's really ready to push on, see what he's like in the Premier League. I don't think it actually cost that much, this one. Again, roughly about £10 million, 10 between 20 and 15, top end of the market. Could we maybe do a deal, send some of the players other way? We've got players like Dion Sanderson, who've been at QPR before. He's had a good season at Birmingham. Could we potentially move him on to QPR? Maybe try and sweeten the deal a little bit, bring the price down for Ismaila Shaw. Again, be a really interesting player. Next one, and last one on the list, is Gustavo Hamer. So if anyone's watching the Championship playoffs recently, he's had a really, really good playoffs as well as a whole season. He is for Coventry. He plays for Coventry. He's 25 years old, central midfielder, and can also play defensive midfield as well. He's 5'7", so again, not a massive player, not a massive midfielder, but I feel like with the players you've got at the moment, we can potentially combat that already and work around that. Now, his stats is what's really drawn my attention in the first place. So 40 appearances in the Championship this season, including the playoffs, 11 goals and 10 assists from central midfield. Now, that is something we're lacking from anyway in our Wolves team. We're lacking goals from midfield, particularly central midfield. I feel like he could bring that, and he could potentially bring more creativity with his assists and his key passes that he has got. So some of his strengths and some of his weaknesses are he's got key passes in his strengths, his long shots. Again, another player like Shaw, very good at set pieces. We've been struggling with set pieces for a couple of seasons now, particularly some of the players that are moving out this season are like the actual set piece takers. So we need to fill that role. And the last 2 players I've mentioned are really good at set pieces, so that could have a big impact. He's very tenacious. I like the way he battles. He's a combating midfielder. You know, for his size, he does battle really well. He competes well in midfield. So that is something I think we should look at. He's got a weakness of his discipline isn't great. Just pick up a lot of bookings. Has been sent off twice this season in the Championship. So that is something he's going to have to work on, particularly in the Premier League. He's not going to get away with as much as maybe he would in the Premier League. In the Championship. So it's something he's got to work on. The value, again, it's about 10 to 15 million pounds. The bottom end of the market would be 10. Top end, if Wolves come in, maybe 15 million pounds. So again, it's not a massive load of money, but because Coventry just missed out on the playoffs, he's a player that's probably going to push himself and move up a division. So I think that's someone we should definitely be signing for next season. And a few key points that I've just actually noticed as I've gone through all those players. So if we were to sign those players, if we were to keep Brian Giles, and to sign Gustavo Hamer and Marla Shaw, those three of those players were in the top 8 in the Championship for assists last season. So we are struggling to create goals at Wolves. We're struggling to create chances. We're struggling to get those final third opportunities and the big open chances in games. I feel those three players would definitely add that, bolster our attacking options and be more creative. Now, I know all these players potentially won't sign for Wolves, but I feel like if they were to bring at least a few of them in, it would bolster the squad. Some of them definitely aren't starters at the moment, but there's potential in them and there's players to integrate them slowly into the squad, and it would potentially boost for next season. Just looking at the price value of those together, at the top end of the market, what I said about, so first of all, Alex Scott, I said he's roughly about 20 million, and then it was Josh Sargent 15, Kanabango at 15, Marla Shaw, top end market 15, and then Hamer's again 15. If you add all that together, that's still a net spend for Wolves for £80 million on 5 different players. They've got good Championship experience. They're a great age. None of them are over 25, so there's a key thing for Wolves is a sell-on value. That's the club are saying lots and lots of things about that at the moment. They want a sell-on value. They want to be able to invest in young and hungry players that want to be able to challenge themselves and actually want to beat the club. I feel all those players fit this profile. There's lots of full internationals in the squad there as well. And I think it's time to maybe dip into the Championship with money not as free spending as has been in previous years. I think £80 million roughly for all those players isn't a lot of money. Obviously, prices will change, but I think you get the money back as well due to their ages. So let me know in the comments what you think of those 5 players, whether you agree with them, whether you disagree with them, whether there's anyone in the Championship you think Wolves should sign, whether you want players from the Portuguese division or France division or Spain. Where do you want the players from? I think these could be good options for next season, solid players. So let me know in the comments what you think about those 5, who you want to see, who you always want to sign. And also, if you get the chance, if you don't do this already, give us a subscribe and a follow on YouTube and try and boost the channel as much as possible because Dave and the boys really appreciate it. So really thanks for your support so far, taking time out of the day to watch this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.